So, living on a farm, people get hurt all the time. Did Grandpa only hurt people, or did did he ever get injured that you remember?
Yeah, my pony, I was out, my pony was tied out, in a grassy area,
Hmm.
and he got loose. I don't know, somebody didn't tie him up tight or something. But anyway,
Can't
the
imagine.
horse, the pony ran up the street, and my dad was painting the barn red. And he didn't have it was a hot day, and he didn't have a shirt on, he just had pants, but he had, um, red paint all over him from painting the barn. And, the pony took off down the street. So he jumped in his car and went after him. And, he jumped out of this car and grabbed the rope. And the pony dragged him down the dirt road. And so he left a lot of skin on the road. And then it was all oil-based paint. He had to
Get gasoline
get
to.
gasoline or took kerosene to
I
clean
let
that
the
off.
paint on, yeah.
That's why he was so nasty.
And he beat that horse, beat that pony.
Oh, I can imagine.
It wasn't the pony's fault.
Wow.
So, tell me the story you said about him borrowing a plow.
Oh. Well, one day
So much better than
he had a Jeep, and he drove it back and forth to work, and he did farm work with it. Well, the plow we had, or the farm was, they called it a glacial ridge, and it was a hill. And that's where the glacier stopped and all the rocks piled up there.
Nice place to have a farm.
And
That's why it was cheap.
so he was plowing in the back 20 or whatever it was. And he hit something, he hit probably a pretty good sized rock, broke the plow. And there was a farm up at the end of the street, a couple miles away, up near Route 6. And they had a plow sitting out there, a two-bottom plow. So he borrowed it.
That wasn't being used.
He was
One
test
being
driving.
used, so we borrowed it.
He was test driving it.
And so he was plowing, and I looked and here's the sheriff coming. It turned out when my dad was pulling the plow down, dirt roads are usually crowned.
He didn't raise it up.
He didn't raise it up far enough, and he left
A trail.
a trail.
Follow me back to my
Where
farm.
he was,
Left some
right back.
breadcrumbs there for you to find it.
So, did he get out of that with just some fancy talking, or did he go
Yeah.
to jail?
He just talked his way out of it.
I saw him plowing, he was plowing, took
Did
the
Grandpa
plow.
Ted ever go to jail that you know of?
Not that I know
How about you?
of. No.
Not that we know
Or ever will know of. I did.
of. Gotta wait a few more
Nothing to
years.
talk about.
So, that was what's the name of that street? What is that called? Start with an H or something?
Higley.
Higley, yeah. And you had a neighbor who was a teacher?
Yeah, Mrs. Blaney.
Good teacher, rough teacher, what was she?
She just got out of the service. She was a whack,
Oh, gee.
and she had a paddle about that big that she would
Whack.
grab you by,
She'd whack you with it.
grab you by
That's
the,
what they teach you.
grab you by the neck, back of the shirt, and put you over the seat and whack you.
And did you get that experience?
I got
First
it
hand?
2 times,
A few
yeah.
times?
For what?
Talking.
Talking?
That's it?
Man.
Yeah, back in the day.
And what was the worst thing you ever did while you were in school?
you can tell
We're
them.
gonna pass. Yeah. Well,
Uh,
wait a minute, Grandpa did that.
I have a
Why can't
list.
I?
the worst thing I did was, I was in the second grade.
Wow, started out early.
Burn this thing down.
And my grandfather, Grandpa Jack, which was my mother's dad,
Crawford.
he lived just up the street. And so at lunchtime, I was outside with the kids, and I decided I was gonna go visit my grandpa. Well, I stayed there a little bit too long. The bell rang, I guess, and everybody else disappeared, and so did I, apparently, because they were, looking for me. The police were looking for me,
Early Amber Alert.
because it was
Yeah.
Right.
it was at the old Roosevelt School, which is pretty close to the, lake.
Oh,
So they were worried that I went down to the lake and got drowned or something.
I remember when we were growing up, you could come home for lunch sometimes, and one time I just didn't want to go back to school, and so I came home and Dad was home. I don't know where Mom was, but Dad had to leave, and I just stayed home. I don't remember what happened, but
One of those repressed memories.
Mom was out with friends or something, and you were home, and you helped me pack or put a lunch together, and I don't know if you had to go to work or.
Huh, probably.
In between jobs.
Because all I remember is I came home and I was like, oh, Dad's here.
Busted.
How am I going to explain this?
Forgot my lunch.